Sponsored by Midland, communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Hi, my name is Phil from Waypoint Overland, and you're listening to Random Waypoints. All right, so here we go. Welcome to our third episode of the Random Waypoints podcast. We'll be doing an episode every week, so subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss an episode. Later in the show, we'll be doing taste tests, looking at some gear, sharing one of my random lists, as well as talking survival and remote communications for the overland traveler. So stay tuned for the whole show. But first, let's look at the news.
During this segment, we'll cover various topics with a connection to overlanding in some way. It could be land use news regarding the national parks or the Bureau of Land Management. We'll keep you up to date on any auto industry news when it pertains to relevant and potential overlanding vehicles. There will be camping and outdoor industry news, as well as photography and video, fishing, hiking, and on and on. Now, here's the news.
Some overland events in the next 90 days to look out for are March 26th through 28th. You have the Southeast Overland and Off-Road Expo in Dade City, Florida. This is the first event of its kind in Florida. They'll be bringing exhibitors, vendors, and the overland and off-road community together for one venue. Now, they have day passes, on-site camping, educational classes, an off-road course, vehicle displays, and a raffle. March 26th through April 4th, there's Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, Utah. If you've registered for the event already, you should have or be receiving a magazine like this from Red Rock Four Wheelers that gives details not only about the event, but gives descriptions of each of the trails. When I'm in Moab, even if it's not for Easter Jeep Safari, I still reference that year's magazine for the latest info on all the trails. So don't just throw it away. It's very useful. The Easter Jeep Safari consists of trail rides, which are mostly day-long trips that depart from Moab throughout the 9-day event. You can get a full rundown of the event over at their website. I'll leave a link down in the description. April 30th to May 2nd, we have the Smoky Mountain Overland Rally in Cosby, Tennessee. This is a rally-style event where there will be rides led by staff for all skill levels and vehicle types. There will be overland classes offered, a sponsors and vendors area with on-site camping included in all registrations. They say it's a family and dog-friendly event. Now, if you're a Jeep lover, mark your calendar for June 11th through the 13th for the 10th annual Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival in Butler. The main event and most of the activities will take place at Cooper's Lake Campground near Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. But the 10th anniversary Jeep Parade and Invasion will take place in downtown Butler, Pennsylvania on Friday. 500 Jeeps will participate in the parade only and drive through town. Another 1,000 registered Jeeps will invade Main Street with special parking only for those registered, thus the name Jeep Invasion. In auto industry news, Nissan has launched their 2022 Pathfinder and 2022 Frontier, adding to the growing list of potential overland vehicles coming to market this year. Both vehicles were long in the tooth and definitely needed an upgrade. The interiors will have more modern safety and convenience features and have been given a fresh new look. But the engines don't change, neither do the suspensions, nor the dimensions. With that said, neither vehicle was a bad vehicle in the first place. So the new look and the new features, I think, will draw some enthusiasm from overland buyers this year. Starting with the 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, it's a 3-row crossover SUV. That's all I got to say about that. Let's move on. let's focus on the frontier, and more specifically, the version of the frontier worthy of overland consideration, in my opinion. For 2022, the Pro 4X version is the only one to consider for overlanding. It has a Dana rear axle, electronic locking rear differential, 3 skid plates, Bilstein shocks, 32-inch Hankook all-terrain tires on 17-inch alloy wheels, and some other cosmetic upgrades. It still uses a 310 horsepower 3.8 V6 that was introduced in last year's model. The one that interests me most is the crew cab with upgraded front seats, a huge center console, more storage underneath the rear seats, and they'll all have 2 USB ports and an 8-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android compatibility. Pickups are becoming more and more popular as overland builds. I can easily see this becoming a choice for many. What do you think? Now it's time for Random Lists.
Random Lists is all about lists Waypoint Overland has created on an array of topics, such as top 5 national parks, top 10 trails in the United States, top 10 fill in the blank. I think you get it. Some lists will be pure fun, and others very informational. But they all will have a connection to overlanding in some way. We're very interested in hearing your suggestions for upcoming lists in the comments. Now, here's our random list.
My random list this week is my top 5 people who inspire me to explore. The people on this list have all inspired me in many different ways. However, they do have things that stand out to me and are common amongst them all. They all saw the world as their oyster. I get the impression they all feel you can achieve anything you wish in life, that you should go anywhere because you have the opportunity or the ability to do so. And if you're willing to explore, you can experience something special during this life. With that, at number 1 is Jacques Cousteau. He was a French naval officer, explorer, conservationist, filmmaker, innovator, scientist, photographer, author, and researcher who studied the sea and all forms of life in water. Most people will know him as the creator of the series The Underworld of Jacques Cousteau. And he was the commander who always wore the red bonnet. I grew up watching this series, and it was one of my first inspirations to explore. The television series ran for 10 years, and there was a second documentary series called The Cousteau Odyssey that ran on public television stations. If you can find either one, I highly recommend you watching them. These shows were an early inspirations for me and the desire to explore. It left an indelible mark on me for sure. A lot of the things that are common knowledge about the sea now were discovered on the show. Some of the inventions that we take for granted today, they were invented by Jacques Cousteau. He co-developed the aqualung, or self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, more commonly known today as scuba gear, which enables safe and deeper dives. Before that, divers were only able to explore the sea using diving bells or helmeted diving suits, which were cumbersome and expensive. Please Google him. Read about all his exploits. Trust me. I have at number 2, Charles Corral. He was an American journalist. He was most widely known for his long career with CBS. First, for his on-the-road segments on the CBS News with Walter Cronkite, and later as the first anchor of CBS News Sunday Morning, a position he held for 15 years. He had an enormous and loyal following with fans everywhere of all ages. On the evening news and Sunday mornings, he gave us tales of the ordinary and the offbeat. He shared tales of cowboys, farmers, horse traders, mushroom hunters, sculptors, lobstermen, grave diggers, veterans, brick makers, hippies. He brought everybody to us, right in our homes. In my opinion, he was the first Instagram, giving us a snapshot of what America really is. At number 3, in my opinion, a name that should be far more recognizable is James Beckwourth. James Beckwourth was an American mountain man, fur trader, and explorer. Beckwourth was also famously known as Bloody Arm because of his skills as a fighter. He was mixed-raced and born into slavery in Virginia. He was freed by his white father and apprenticed to a blacksmith so that he could learn a trade. Now, what makes him number 3 on my list is that he had a major contribution to Western America's early exploration. He documented and recorded his journeys from Florida's Everglades to the Pacific Ocean, as well as from Canada's south to Mexico's north. I discovered his story from his autobiography published in 1856 called The Life and Adventures of J.P. Beckwourth, Mountaineer, Scout, and Pioneer, and Chief of the Crow Nations of Indians. I've learned more about Indian ways, their culture, battle tactics, geography, and historical events than any other book I have ever read. I would wake up in the morning with the book draped on my chest because I fell asleep reading it all night. I had it finished in a few days. I loved reading about him riding 2,750 miles in 50 days by horse over all types of terrain and crazy weather. Also, how he became the chief of the Crow Nation of Indians. That's just a couple of the incredible and true stories in the book. I'll leave a link to the book if you're interested. Now, this is a name, or I should say names, that everyone knows. At number 4, we have Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. You can't seem to go anywhere in the United States without passing a sign, a monument, or something that memorializes the Lewis and Clark expedition. And to tell you the truth, I'm kind of obsessed with their expedition. I've read so many books, so many articles. I've watched so many documentaries, visited so many historical sites from their expedition all across the country. And the more I learn, the more I'm intrigued with the story. It's basically President Thomas Jefferson commissioned Lewis and Clark to explore and map the newly acquired territories from the Louisiana Purchase. They were asked to find a practical route across the western half of the continent and to establish an American presence in the territory. They also had a secondary objective, which was scientific and economic, like studying area plans, animal life, geography, and to establish trade with local American Indian tribes. The expedition returned to St. Louis to report its findings to Jefferson with maps, sketches, and journals in hand. Now, that's a very simplified overview of their journey, but I encourage you to do just a little research. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Next on my list, at number 5, is someone that may be on your list. He's definitely on somebody's list. At number 5, I have Ernest Hemingway. Most know Hemingway as an American novelist, short story writer, journalist, and maybe a sportsman. What drew me to his story was his adventurous lifestyle and his public image. During the First World War, he volunteered to serve in Italy as an ambulance driver with the American Red Cross. He was wounded by Austrian mortar fire. He was a reporter for the Kansas City Star. He lived in Paris in the 1920s. He traveled all over the world, from Paris to Key West to the East African plains, on all sorts of adventures. He was a big game hunter and went on safaris in Kenya and Tanzania. He hunted Cape buffalo, lions, and rhinos. He loved deep-sea fishing off the Cuban coast and exploring the warm waters of the Caribbean, where he spent a great deal of time fishing for marlin. He basically saw it all, and he did it all. If that's not enough for you, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature in 1954. He was also awarded the Pulitzer Prize, and several of his books were made into movies. Now me, I've always loved Hemingway's aesthetic. I carry a moleskin and a nice pen to this day because he did. And I thirst for adventure like him as well. Well, that's my list. My very personal list. These are people who have inspired me, and they continue to do so. Maybe they'll spark something in you. Do you agree with my list? Do you have your own list? Comment and leave your list in the comments. I really want to hear from you about this particular one. Let's communicate. And with that, it's the perfect time to move to the topic of communications. I'm finding that a vast majority of new overlanders, they go out in their rigs with nothing but a GPS and trust the GPS to be their one and only guide, and often in very remote places. Most people realize when it's too late that GPS units are not only prone to error, but can send you along a one-way forest trail that's been washed out or across the desert where no road exists. So please purchase the appropriate paper maps for your journey and learn how to use them. I'm meeting too many people in the middle of nowhere, not prepared and driving around with a false sense of security. No matter how well prepared you are, things can go bad. So bad that you need real help and you're somewhere remote with no cell service. What do? A CB isn't going to help if someone isn't close enough with a CB on. So if you're truly remote, a CB is not an option. I know some of you are chomping at the bit to tell me that a ham radio could reach someone in Norway if you hit the right repeaters. Well, in a real life or death situation, I prefer something that will allow me to contact someone more local or anyone that I decide is appropriate. Last week, we talked about the 3 forms of communication that I recommend: satellite communicators, Midland GMRS radio, and a cell phone. Today, we'll focus on satellite communicators. In my humble opinion, a satellite communicator should be part of your most basic overlanding kit whenever you go out. I'm constantly urging my friends to purchase one. It's your best bet for getting out of a true emergency in the middle of nowhere. Everyone who gets one says the same thing. I should have gotten one a long time ago. The most popular choices I know of are the Garmin inReach satellite communicator, there's the Spot satellite communicator, and the Zoleo satellite communicator. Now here's a side note. They all use GIOS Worldwide, which is home of the International Emergency Response Coordination Center. They offer global, around-the-clock monitoring services for a variety of devices and apps. And unlike your local emergency dispatch center, it's a private for-profit venture. A rotating crew is on hand at all times to report the incident to search and rescue personnel, direct them to the alert's point of origin, and help coordinate the response until the sender is safe. As of October 2020, they've monitored over 81,000 incidents. They've coordinated over 12,000 emergency responses during that time for 634,000 customers in 198 countries and territories. Everyone I talk to has no issues using any of these products. So, advice on getting the one that has the features that you like is the best bet. No matter which one you choose, an active subscription plan is required. The Spot has a custom message feature that sends contacts a pre-programmed message with your GPS location. It'll save and send your location to contacts for tracking your progress. And in case of an emergency, you can send an SOS with your GPS location to GIOS, who coordinates search and rescue. Or you can choose what they call the SOV feature to request help with your GPS location to friends and family, as well as roadside assistance from professionals 24 hours a day. If you go with the Zoleo, it includes a dedicated US-based SMS phone number and email address that are shareable for easy contact. You can send SOS alerts via the app or the SOS button on the device with a 24/7 response monitoring by GIOS Worldwide. It has a built-in button to let others know you're okay and will send your GPS coordinates and messages. Now I've been using the Garmin inReach for many years now. I actually have the older model, which is the DeLorme inReach. I purchased mine a long time ago before Garmin acquired it. It's been very dependable, so I don't have a reason to upgrade to a newer model. I send my wife periodic text messages throughout the day, as well as receive them anywhere I go. I do the same with my daughter who lives on the other side of the country. This year when I was in Colorado, I found an awesome campsite in a remote location in the mountains next to a river. I told my wife I was going to be camping at another location in a completely different area, but I wasn't worried about it at all. I just quickly used my inReach to let her know I was stopping there for the night. That's it. She knew exactly where I was. She felt better knowing where I was, and I felt better letting her know. It allows me to update my family 24/7 with my whereabouts. I have my inReach set up to send a ping of my location every 2 minutes, so they don't have any problem finding me on a map. Even if somehow I forget to let my wife know of a change in my plan, she can simply click on a map and find me immediately. In case of an emergency in the backcountry, you can trigger an SOS to the 24/7 Search and Rescue Monitoring Center, which requires a satellite subscription. And also, I use the EarthMate app they provide to link my inReach to my iPad or my iPhone. I'm then able to use the GPS in the inReach to use with my downloaded maps for things like Google Maps, All Trails, and Gaia GPS. This keeps not having cell service a non-issue. I can also create a longer message with my iPad or iPhone through the app, and they're sent by the inReach unit. So these are the 3 that I recommend. But no matter what you choose, you need to get one. I'm hungry again, and this segment can't get here any sooner for me. Let's move right along to taste tests.
Taste tests. Taste test is where we evaluate the taste of a food product, whether on its own or compared with other products. Some taste tests will be conducted blind, while others will focus on a particular brand or item.
I had a watcher from Instagram leave me a very short to the point message, and I quote, "Can you taste test something not so bougie?" Well, first, I want to thank you for your DM. Now, this is an Overland channel, not a bushcraft channel, not a prepper channel. Don't get me wrong, I love all that, but we're here to follow the directive of what overlanding is all about. We're all about enjoying the journey, and good food is one way that I personally enjoy the journey. With that said, everyone has a different journey. So our taste test this week is the ReadyWise 2-Day Adventure Bag. Now, the adventure bag contains 4 entrees, 2 breakfasts, and 2 snacks in a 5-liter dry bag. The pouches are lightweight, so they're perfect for any outdoor adventure. You just add water, and you can eat them directly from the pouch. So let's look inside the bag. Now, the first thing I want to mention about this is this particular bag has been in my dry box in my vehicle since March. I packed my box for the beginning of my year of traveling, which usually starts in April. And this has been there the whole time. I've never eaten ReadyWise before. I bought it. It was a great deal I got on it. It was real cheap for what you got. And you got the nice bag to go with it, which I wanted. And so I don't know what this stuff tastes like. Now you're like, so you've been carrying this thing around with this? Well, no, I ordered a new one. And then I realized, I was like, no, let me put the new one in my dry box and take this one out. And so just for you guys, I wrapped it up in the new cardboard to look professional. But with all of that said, let's take a look at what's in the box. So this is a dry bag, which is a huge bonus to me because you can go ahead and just eat all of this stuff and never eat it again, and you still have a nice dry bag. And for the price that I paid for it, people pay that much for dry bags by themselves. Now, we've got apple cinnamon cereal. We've got lasagna with sausages. We've got pasta Alfredo with chicken. We've got cookie dough. Got 2 cookie doughs. We've got strawberry granolas. We've got macaroni and cheese, and we've got teriyaki chicken and rice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what they say, which is you just tear them open, put some water, 3/4 cup of boiling water in, stir it around, let it stand for 12 to 15 minutes, and eat. So the water is already boiled. I just need to add water to them. And we'll be back in about 15 minutes. All right. So we're going to start with the Tree Line Teriyaki Chicken and Rice Pouch. It says that it's a perfect blend of chicken, rice, and savory vegetables in a sweet and spicy teriyaki sauce. All right, so now I've had teriyaki and rice many times. And as far as these type of meals, I've had them by other companies. And it's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but if I'm on a trip and this is solely what I'm eating, and these are the last things that I have, this is I usually eat these last because there's nothing special to me. But I've never had this brand, so we're going to check them out, and I'll let you know what I think. It's definitely hot. Okay, this first one, I think I'm gonna give it a fair chance, but I'm already ready to go to the very next one. It's sweet and it's salty, which is what teriyaki normally is, but it doesn't really taste like teriyaki. It doesn't taste bad. I would eat this if this is all I had, like I said about the other brands. But so far, no good. The rice is tender. The chicken tastes like real chicken. So being totally honest, this is something I would pick through and do just what I'm doing now, and just to eat the little chunks of meat. So the teriyaki chicken is a no-go. So let's go on to the next one. All right. So next we have the pasta Alfredo with chicken. And this is another one that I've had by other brands. Well, visually, I'm sorry I didn't show you the other one. I didn't like it, so I got rid of that one. But this one looks like a winner from just the appearance. I'll be surprised if it doesn't taste good from the way it looks. And it smells good, too. A lot of times with these type of meals, I end up adding something depending upon what kind of dish it is. I add salsa or hot sauce or Parmesan cheese. Sometimes I'll cut up a little red onion or something like that. It depends upon what the particular dish is. But this here looks like anything that I thought of to put in it is already in there. It looks like it's all kind of little herbs and vegetables in it. I'm going to give you a look first. So you can eat it right out of the bag, obviously. But I want to give you a look. So we're going to go to our other camera, and I'll be right with you. So So here it is. It's nice little flakes of meat. It's a nice creamy sauce. The pasta is tender. We're going to give it a taste. Okay, this is a winner. I got to be completely honest with you. After trying that tree line teriyaki chicken and rice pouch, I was ready to give up on ReadyWise. I have a shelf with other stuff that I plan on using in other taste tests, and I was going to completely scrap this and start with something different. That's how bad the other one was in the impression that I had of it. But I went on ahead and I tried this one, and now they're back in my good graces so far. This is delicious. One of these I'm going to end up eating the whole bag because I'm hungry. And this may be the one that I return back to eat. So what we're going to do is we're going to seal this bag up, and I'm going to probably eat it offline once this is done. But we're going to give some of the other ones a fair chance. We're going to try the lasagna. I like lasagna, all types of lasagna, so I'm hoping that this works out. So we'll be right back. All right, next we have the ReadyWise lasagna with Mountain Summit sausage. It says it's a classic meat lasagna with pasta and sausage and a cheesy tomato pasta sauce. So we have one that was no good. We have one that was very good. What will this one be? Well, the very first thing that I want to mention is whatever they say the amount of water is, I always put a slight bit less because I don't like it to be soupy unless it's supposed to be a soup. And this particular one, I didn't put the full 2 cups. I put like 2 7/8. I'm sorry, 1 7/8 cup of water in it. And it's still soupy. I'm going to put some in my plate here so you can get an idea of the consistency. It doesn't look like it's bad, but it's just a soupier consistency than I thought from what the pictures made me think. Smells good. So let's go to our camera. Okay, so the first thing I notice is there's a lot of meat in it. So if you're a carnivore like I am, you'll be happy with that. Now I want to just taste the sauce. The sauce is delicious. It's a safe sauce. They definitely played it safe. They were trying to appeal to a very large mass of people with the flavor. They definitely didn't take any chances. Okay, so next we have apple cinnamon cereal. And before I taste it, I want to just tell you, I don't really like apple cinnamon. I chose this one on purpose because I don't like it. I don't dislike it, but when we get oatmeal at home, we usually get a variety pack. My wife likes these, she eats them, and I eat all the others. So if I don't like it, then I'll try one of the other ones because it's probably not fair. But here we go. Surprisingly, the first thing that stands out to me is that the oats and the grains that they used, you would never know that it came from one of these pouches. It tastes like good oatmeal. It tastes like really good oatmeal that you'd get like at a more high-end grocery store. The next thing is, usually when they make these type, they put a lot of cinnamon in it, and that's what throws me off. This isn't overly powered with cinnamon. I'm tasting some kind of cinnamon, I think, or tastes like cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon. But the brown sugar and the oats stand out in this. And I see apple pieces, but I'm avoiding them, but I guess I got to try them for you guys. It didn't taste like a rehydrated apple. It tasted like an apple. I still, this isn't going to be my favorite. This isn't something that I would reach for. But if I bought like a variety pack and this was the last one, I would have no issue eating it. And I would think that somebody that actually likes this particular flavor would really like it, because this doesn't even fit to me. This tastes more, well, I don't want to compare it to another brand, but it just tastes better than I would have expected for something like this. Out of all of the meals, this is the most shocking one. If I poured it out for you and you ate it and you didn't know that it was one of these, you would think that I spent more money and that it was a much higher quality thing that you were eating. I'm gonna put some in my plate just so you can see, because it's not like just regular oatmeal. It's got all different kinds of wheats and barleys and stuff like that in it. And switch cameras. So you see that? It's like nice big pieces of barley and wheat and oats and stuff, and it tastes fresh. I never think of the word fresh when I think of those particular types of food, but it tastes fresh. It's very unusual. I think my wife would like this. I'm gonna make sure she tries one of these. And the brown sugar doesn't have that just like super sweet taste. It's a nice, elegant sweetness to me. That's the only word I could think of. So this is definitely a winner. I would definitely eat this if I had to, but I would pick another flavor if I had a choice. Okay, so I am pleasantly surprised with this apple cinnamon. Somebody who actually likes apple cinnamon, this is probably going to be one of the best ones you ever had, because the quality of these oats and stuff is really good, in my opinion. So I think this is definitely a go. Matter of fact, 3 out of the 4 things I tried were goes. So I think that's a pretty good representation. I've eaten many brands, and you're not going to like them all. So that's not the way you judge them. You just you find the ones that you like, and if the brand has a lot of things that you like, then I guess it's a good brand. With that wraps things up for another episode of our podcast. We'll see you next week. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. And with that, everyone stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here on a trail soon.
Sponsored by Midland, communication for every adventure, the industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.